Speaker for the Dead. Ender Saga #2 by Orson Scott Card. The Xenologer's Dilemma. In the verdant embrace of Lusitania's forests, where the air is thick with the scent of alien flora, Pippo and his son Libo, donning their xenologer gear, navigate the underbrush with a practiced stealth. The towering trees, ancient and wise, stand as silent witnesses to their quest. Pippo, the seasoned observer, moves with a deliberate calmness, his eyes scanning for the subtlest of clues left by the Picaninos. Libo, in contrast, is a bundle of restrained energy, his youthful eagerness tempered by the gravity of their mission. Patience, Libo, Pippo murmurs, his voice a gentle reminder amidst the symphony of the forest. Our purpose here is to understand, not to alter. The piggies' customs are theirs alone to claim. Libo, his face a study of solemn intent under the shadow of his hat, nods. I know, father, yet it pains me to see their hardships and stand aside. Pippo's hand rests on Libo's shoulder, a silent testament to their shared struggle. It's a difficult balance, but we must tread lightly. Our presence here is but to witness and learn. In the periphery of their focused gaze, Novina, a girl marked by loss but driven by an unquenchable thirst for knowledge, observes from her secluded vantage point. Orphaned by the merciless Descolada, she has transformed her solitude into a relentless pursuit of the virus's secrets. Pippo, ever observant, has taken note of her solitary figure, often engrossed in her research. On a day when the forest whispers seem to speak of change, he approaches her, his demeanor warm and inviting. Novina, your talent is unmistakable, he offers, acknowledging the organized chaos of her work. Your ability to discern patterns amidst disorder could be pivotal to our understanding of the Picaninos. Her response is a blend of skepticism and intrigue. And why would I join your study? A knowing smile plays on Pippo's lips. Because like us, you seek comprehension beyond mere observation. Together, our insights could illuminate the unknown. After a moment of contemplation, Novina acquiesces, her agreement a silent vow to a shared cause. As their collaboration unfolds, the trio, Pippo, Libo, and Novina, forge a bond of intellectual curiosity and mutual respect. Their combined efforts peel back the layers of the Picaninos' enigmatic existence. The rituals of the alien species, initially jarring to human sensibilities, reveal a sophisticated symbiosis with nature. Yet the deeper they delve, the more they confront the limitations of their understanding. The Picaninos' rites, particularly those surrounding their life cycle, remain shrouded in mystery. Despite the xenologer's best efforts, the true nature of these ceremonies eludes them, bound by strict protocols of non-interference and the Picaninos' own reticence. The fragments they do gather speak of a complex society, where roles and identities are fluid, and the line between individual and collective is blurred. Amidst these revelations, Novina grapples with the implications of their work. Pippo's counsel on the sanctity of observation resonates within her, a reminder that even the most benevolent intentions can ripple through an alien culture with unforeseen consequences. The weight of this knowledge, the delicate dance of discovery and respect, becomes a mantle she bears with increasing solemnity, foreshadowing a future where every choice carries the weight of worlds. As the days stretch into weeks, the trio's research becomes a mosaic of fragmented insights and half-glimpsed truths. The Picaninos, with their intricate social structures and enigmatic behaviors, challenge every preconceived notion the xenologers hold. The Picaninos' rituals, particularly those that mark significant transitions in their lives, are a tapestry of complex symbolism and ecological interdependence. One such ritual involves the transformation of certain individuals, a process shrouded in sacred secrecy. These anologers can only speculate on its significance, piecing together observations like a puzzle whose final image remains elusive. Novena, in her quest to comprehend the Descolada, finds herself at the crossroads of science and empathy. Her work, once a solitary endeavor, now thrives in the collaborative spirit fostered by Pipo and Libo. Together, they uncover patterns in the virus's behavior, hints of a possible coevolution with the Pequeninos that could hold the key to understanding both the alien species and the plague itself. Yet, as their knowledge grows, so does the realization of their own limitations. The law that binds their hands also protects the integrity of the Pequeninos' culture, a culture that has evolved without human interference. The Xenologers stand on the brink of profound discoveries, but the path forward is fraught with ethical dilemmas and the potential for irreversible impact on a world not their own. In this delicate balance of curiosity and caution, Pipo, Libo, and Novena continue their journey, their every step a silent promise to honor the world they have been granted the privilege to explore. The forest holds its breath, the Pequeninos watch with ancient eyes, and the stars above whisper of destinies yet unwritten. The Xenologer's dilemma is far from resolved, but the pursuit of knowledge, tempered by respect, marches on. The Shadow of Descolada. In the quiet lab of Lusitania, Novena stood before the sealed files of her late mentor, Pipo. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard, a silent battle raging within her. To open the files was to risk everything, but the truth about the Descolada virus and Pipo's death lay within. "Mom," a voice broke the silence. It was Ella, Novena's eldest daughter, her eyes filled with the same curiosity that once lit Pipo's gaze. "Are you going to tell us what happened?" Novena turned, her face a mask of resolve. "It's not safe," she whispered. "The Descolada is more than a disease. It's a sentient puzzle that cost your grandfather his life. It has the power to alter our very DNA, making us something other than human." "But we deserve to know," Ella protested, stepping closer. "We can help." Novena sighed, torn between her duty as a xenobiologist and a mother. "What if I unleash something that can't be contained?" Ella reached out, placing a gentle hand on her mother's. "We'll face it together. We're your family, and we're stronger than any virus." With a trembling breath, Novena keyed in the code, and the files flickered to life on the screen. Together, they delved into the data, unraveling the genetic mysteries of the Descolada, each line of code a step closer to understanding the shadow that had fallen over their world. Watching from the shadows was Ender, the speaker for the dead. His role was to heal the rifts in this family and perhaps between humans and Pequeninos. He was the silent guardian over a family on the brink of discovery, waiting for the right moment to share his wisdom. Suddenly, Ella gasped, her finger pointing to a string of data. "Look, this sequence here. It's not just random mutations. It's a pattern, a language almost." Novena leaned in, her eyes widening as the implications dawned on her. The Descolada, it's communicating, evolving. It's not just a virus. It's a form of life trying to make contact. Ender stepped forward, his voice gentle yet firm. "And it's up to us to listen, to understand what it's trying to say. This could change everything." The room fell silent as they all considered the weight of their discovery. The Descolada wasn't a curse. It was a bridge, a way to connect two species in a dance of genetic complexity. As Novena finally shared her burden with her daughter and the speaker, the path forward for their family, and for all of Lusitania, began to unfold. The genetic dance was intricate, and as they pieced together the puzzle, a new understanding emerged. The Descolada's intricate patterns were a testament to its intelligence, a complex language that held the key to coexistence. It was a revelation that could redefine the future of Lusitania and all its inhabitants. The speaker's arrival. The first light of dawn was breaking as Ender Wiggin arrived on Lusitania. The children had been told of a speaker's coming, one who would listen and understand, though they knew not his face. As Ender approached, the air was alive with the unfamiliar sense of this world, and the sounds of its unseen fauna echoed in the distance. Novina's children awaited him, their young faces etched with a blend of curiosity and unease. Ella, the eldest, stepped forward. "You're here to speak for our father and Pipo?" she inquired, her tone laced with a touch of doubt. Ender offered a nod, his expression warm. "Yes, I've come at your mother's behest, though I hear she's had second thoughts." Grego, brimming with youthful defiance, declared, "We can handle our own affairs." Kneeling to meet Grego's gaze, Ender replied softly, "Even the strongest can benefit from a shared burden. My presence is not to overstep, but to offer a voice to those gone silent." Miro finally voiced his confusion. Mother rescinded her request. "What brings you here against her wishes?" Ender's eyes drifted to the house where Novina stood watching. "Healing sometimes seeks us out, unbidden. It's woven into the very fabric of this place, in the words left unspoken, in the glances that linger too long." As they made their way to the house, the children's voices rose in a cacophony of grief and confusion, each clamoring to be heard. They spoke of their father, Marcos, and the void left in his wake, of Pipo, the xenologer whose death remained shrouded in mystery. Inside, Novina's stance was guarded, her eyes a tempest of conflicting emotions. "Your coming was not at my request," she stated firmly. "I'm aware," Ender responded calmly. "Yet here I am, ready to listen, to delve into the silences that have become your constant companions." The room settled into a heavy quiet, the tension almost tangible. It was Quara who pierced the silence, her voice barely above a whisper. "Since Father's passing and now Pipo, we're adrift, seeking answers." Ender seated himself, his attention unwavering from Novina. "Answers come with time and with patience. Together we'll uncover the truths you seek." Novina's defenses faltered, and she gave a slight nod. "Very well, but let's not dwell on the past. There's been a recent development, a discovery about the Pequeninos that could change everything." Ender leaned in, intrigued. "Then let's begin there. Tell me about this discovery." The children encircled them as Ender listened, each word unraveling the complex tapestry of Lusitania's history and the Pequeninos' enigmatic culture. With the rising sun casting a new light into the room, a path toward understanding began to emerge, heralding a fresh start for the colony. Unveiling the past. The sun cast long shadows as Ender walked through the streets of Lusitania toward the Ribeira house. He knocked on the door, and Novina's eldest, Ela, answered, recognizing Ender as the speaker. Ender entered and found Novina, her eyes red-rimmed, in the living room. He assured her that he wanted to help and understand the secrets that had led to Pipo's death. Novina's children gathered, and Ender explained that their father wasn't who everyone thought he was, and their mother had carried a heavy burden. Miro, the second eldest, questioned Ender's knowledge of their father, to which Ender replied that he knew of the pain the family had endured. Ender revealed the truth about Pipo and Libo's work with the Pequeninos and Novina's fears. The children's confusion turned to understanding and resolve as they saw their mother in a new light. Ender concluded that the Pequeninos weren't enemies but beings with their own lives and customs. The family shared a newfound unity, and Novina's burden was lifted. Ender stood to leave, reminding them that the past didn't have to define them, and that their actions would shape the future. The truth unspoken. The community hall was abuzz with whispers and nervous glances as Ender took the stage. The air was thick with anticipation, the kind that precedes a storm. Novina's children, now young adults, stood together, a united front of curiosity and dread. Ender cleared his throat, his voice steady. We've gathered here to speak of truths long buried, of wounds unhealed. A murmur rippled through the crowd. Novina, standing at the back, felt her heart race. This was the moment she had feared and longed for. Ender continued. Marcos Ribeira was not the man you thought he was. He was not weak. He was not evil. He was a man caught in a web of circumstances that none of us can claim to understand fully. A boy shouted from the crowd, but he was cruel to Novina. To all of us. Ender looked at the boy. He was a man struggling with his own demons, as we all are. Remember the incident by the river? When Marcos was accused of starting a fight? Heads nodded, the memory fresh even after years. It wasn't Marcos who started it, Ender revealed. He defended himself as any of us would. But fear and prejudice turned self-defense into an act of aggression in our eyes. The hall fell silent, the truth settling like dust after an upheaval. A girl from the Os Venerados family stepped forward, her voice steady, I remember. I was there. Marcos was not the aggressor. Ender nodded, his eyes locked on Novina's. The truth was distorted, Novina. Marcos was not the monster you thought him to be. Her children rushed to her side, embracing her tightly. Ender's voice continued, gentle but firm. We've been living in the shadow of lies, of half-truths. It's time we face the light. Marcos was a complex man, flawed and human. He deserves our understanding, our forgiveness. The room erupted into a cacophony of whispers, of murmurs, of tears. The truth, once unspoken, now hung in the air, a fragile, shimmering thing. As the crowd began to disperse, Ender's eyes met Novina's. He smiled, a gentle, sad smile. The truth will set us free, Novina, but it's up to us to face it, to embrace it. As Novina lifted her eyes, meeting Ender's gaze, a silent understanding passed between them. The path to healing was clear, though not easy, and it began with forgiveness, with the courage to confront the past. The community, once fractured, could now begin the journey toward reconciliation, guided by the light of truth that Ender had unveiled. Secrets and revelations. The air was thick with tension as Ender walked into the room where Novina sat, her eyes red from crying. The children were there too, each one wearing a mask of confusion and hurt. Novina, Ender began gently. I know about Libo, and I know about the secrets you've been carrying all these years. Novina looked up, her eyes meeting Ender's. How could you possibly understand, she whispered. I understand more than you think, Ender replied. Grego, the eldest son, stood up abruptly. What secrets? What are you talking about? Ender sighed, knowing the pain his next words would cause. Your mother was in love with Libo. He was your real father. The room erupted into chaos. That's a lie, shouted Grego, while Ila and Quara began to sob. It's not a lie, Novina said quietly, standing up. It's the truth. And it's time you all knew it. But why, Mother? Why did you marry Marcos if you loved Libo? Ella asked through her tears. Novina took a deep breath. I married Marcos because I blamed myself for Pipo's death. I showed him something about the Descolada that led to his demise. In my grief, I thought marrying Marcos would keep the secret safe, sparing Libo from Pipo's fate. Ender finished for her, his voice soft but firm. You married Marcos to punish yourself. Novina nodded, tears streaming down her face. Yes, to punish myself. But why keep it a secret? Why not tell us? Quara, the youngest, asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Because I thought I was protecting you, Novina replied. Ender stepped forward, placing a hand on Novina's shoulder. But now we see that secrets only hold us back from healing. As the family absorbed the weight of Novina's revelations, the room filled with a sense of understanding and a glimmer of hope. They were a family built on secrets, but now they had a chance to rebuild on the foundation of truth. And with Ender's help, they would navigate the complexities of their past to forge a stronger future together. Grego's anger still lingered, but Ella's tears had slowed to a stop. Quara, however, looked like she was still trying to process the revelation. Ender's words hung in the air, a gentle reminder that the path to healing was long overdue. Novina's eyes met Ender's, a silent gratitude in her gaze. She knew that this was only the beginning, that the road to forgiveness and redemption would be fraught with challenges. But with Ender's guidance, she felt a sense of hope that she hadn't felt in years. As the tension in the room began to dissipate, Ender spoke up again. "We have a lot to discuss and a lot to work through. But for now, let's just take this moment to breathe, to let the truth settle in." The room fell silent, each person lost in their own thoughts. But as they stood there, surrounded by the secrets of their past, they knew that they were one step closer to a brighter future. The Piggy's plight. Ender, known as the Speaker for the Dead, faced a delicate situation on Lusitania. The Picaninos, or Piggies, had misconstrued Miro's actions as a sign of human aggression. Ender had to dispel this notion without delay. He explained to Mandachuva, a Picanino, that humans could not be planted like their sacred trees. This belief stemmed from a misunderstanding of the human death rituals, which bore a superficial resemblance to the Pecaninos' own. Ender emphasized that humans and Pecaninos were alike, both sentient beings, or Raman, capable of complex thoughts and emotions. The conversation took a hopeful turn when Human, another Picanino, sought out Ender to discuss dismantling the fence, a symbol of division. Together with Novina, they contemplated this bold move to bridge the gap between their species. Ender reassured her of his commitment to peace and his readiness to handle the Starways Congress. Their plan was ambitious, and the path ahead fraught with challenges, but Ender was resolute. The future of Lusitania and the prospect of harmony between humans and Pecaninos hinged on their success. Ender, with Novina by his side, engaged in earnest discussions with Human. They explored the intricacies of Pequenino culture and the misinterpretations that had arisen. Ender's role as the Speaker for the Dead allowed him to approach the situation with a unique perspective, one that valued the Pequeninos' beliefs while gently correcting their misconceptions. The trio delved into the history of the fence, its impact on relations, and the potential for a unified future. As the dialogue progressed, Ender's conviction grew stronger, and he shared insights from his past experiences, fostering a deeper understanding. The chapter closed with a sense of cautious optimism, as plans were set in motion to dismantle the barriers, both physical and metaphorical, that stood between the two species. The commitment to coexistence was clear, and the path forward, while uncertain, was paved with the promise of mutual respect and a shared destiny. A community's conscience. In the heart of Lusitania, the town hall was abuzz with whispers and anxious glances as Mayor Boskina prepared to address the gathered crowd. The air was thick with tension, a mix of fear and defiance hanging over the settlers as they awaited her words. "Friends, we stand at a crossroads," Boskina began, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "The Starways Congress threatens our very way of life, but we must choose our path with wisdom and courage." A murmur rippled through the crowd, and young Grego's voice cut through the noise. "But what can we do, Mayor? They're light years away and yet breathing down our necks." Boskina nodded solemnly. "We have something they don't expect: unity. We will sever the Ansible connection, keep our secrets safe, and protect our autonomy. We are Lusitanians first, and we will not bow to distant masters." The crowd erupted in a mixture of cheers and gasps. Ender Wiggin, known to all as the Speaker for the Dead, watched from the sidelines, his presence a silent support to the mayor's bold plan. Later, in the quiet of the speaker's house, Novina's children gathered, their faces etched with the weight of their mother's past actions. "Why did she do it?" Ella asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Ender looked at each of them, his gaze kind but unflinching. "Your mother sought to protect you all from the pain she endured, but in doing so, she wrapped herself in a cocoon of secrets and guilt." Olhado, his mechanical eyes unblinking, spoke up. "And what of our father, Marcos? Was he the monster we've been led to believe?" With a gentle shake of his head, Ender replied, "No. He was a man caught in a cycle of hurt that he couldn't escape. He loved deeply, and that love became his prison." The siblings exchanged looks, the truth settling in their hearts like a balm. Guara, the youngest, reached for Ender's hand. "Can we forgive her? Can we forgive ourselves?" Ender squeezed her hand reassuringly. "Forgiveness is the first step towards healing. Your mother's actions were born of fear and love, tangled together. Understanding that is the key to moving forward." As night fell over Lusitania, the community gathered once more, this time in a circle around the speaker's house. Boskina stood beside Ender, her resolve mirrored in the faces of those around her. "We have shared our secrets and our guilt," Boskina declared. "Now let us share our strength and our hope. Together, we will write a new chapter for Lusitania, one of understanding and coexistence." And with those words, a new sense of purpose united the settlers. They were no longer just survivors of a distant plague or pawns in a cosmic game. They were a community, bound by conscience and a shared vision for the future. The path ahead was uncertain, but they faced it as one. Bridging two worlds. In the heart of the Lusitanian forest, under the shade of towering trees, Ender stood face to face with Human, the Pequenino who had become his friend. "Human," Ender began, his voice steady, "we stand on the brink of something new, something beautiful. Our two worlds, so long apart, can be one." Human nodded, his snout-like face serious. "Ender, speaker for the dead, we have dreamed of the stars, of expanding our families and leaders into the cosmos. We do not seek war." Ender smiled, a warm, genuine expression. "And we shall help you reach the stars in peace. We will teach you all we know, and together we will learn from the Hive Queen." Novina, watching from the edge, felt a surge of hope. Beside her, her son Miro, still struggling with his paralysis, squeezed her hand. Ender continued, "We will live by your laws in the forest, and you by ours beyond the fence. This covenant we forged today is not just a promise. It's a bridge between our souls, a pledge of mutual protection and respect that marks the beginning of a shared future." Human stepped forward, extending a wooden hand. "And we will protect each other, Ender, from those among us who fear change, who might seek to harm what we build." Ender took Human's hand and the two shook, a symbol of their newfound unity. The Pequeninos let out a joyous cry, a sound that echoed through the forest and beyond. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the gathering, Ender spoke once more. "Let this be the dawn of a new era where we walk together, not in fear, but in understanding." The end of the day marked not an ending, but a beginning, a hope on the horizon. The covenant formed was the heartbeat of Lusitania, pulsing with the promise of tomorrow. The covenant of coexistence. In the heart of Lusitania, under the sprawling branches of the mother tree, a gathering unlike any other was taking place. Humans and Pequeninos stood side by side, their faces etched with the weight of history and hope. At the center of it all was Ender Wiggin, the speaker for the dead, his eyes reflecting the gravity of the moment. "Today we stand on the precipice of a new dawn," Ender began, his voice carrying through the crowd. "A dawn where human and Pequenino, two intelligent species, choose peace over war, understanding over ignorance." Human, the Pequenino who had come to be known as Ender's friend, stepped forward. "We have lived apart for too long," he said, his voice resonating with a deep melodic timbre. "It is time to live together, to share the land and the sky." The crowd murmured in agreement, but a voice rose above the rest, tinged with fear and defiance. It was Shouter, a pequenino known for his resistance to change. "How can we trust the humans? How do we know they won't betray us as they have others?" Ender turned to Shouter, his gaze steady. "Trust is not given lightly, Shouter. It is earned, day by day, deed by deed. We have all made mistakes, but today we choose a different path." Mayor Boskina, a figure of authority among the humans, joined the conversation. "We have safeguarded our future with this covenant," she declared, her voice firm yet hopeful. "It is a promise of respect, a vow to honor the customs that define us all." Ender nodded, then addressed the assembly. "This covenant is more than words on paper. It is a living commitment, a testament to our shared future." As the ceremony concluded, the crowd watched in silence, understanding the significance of the moment. Ender caught Novina's eye and whispered, "Today we begin anew." And with that, the covenant of coexistence was born, a beacon of hope for all of Lusitania. Hope on the horizon. Ender watched the sun rise, its warm glow casting a new light over Lusitania. As he contemplated the day ahead, Ohado approached with a thoughtful expression. "Ender, I have an idea from Miro," he said. "It could help him reconnect with the Pequeninos and find a new direction." Ender, moved by Ohado's concern, agreed to discuss the plan with Miro. Together they found Miro contemplative, gazing out his window. The suggestion of a new project sparked a visible change in him, and he eagerly embraced the idea. "This is what I've been needing," Miro expressed with heartfelt gratitude. Leaving Miro's home, Ender felt a renewed sense of purpose. They had overcome much, and now it seemed they were on the cusp of something greater. As Ender returned to his thoughts, he was reminded that the path to peace and justice was a continuous journey, one he was ready to travel with the support of his community. He thought about the Pequeninos, and how they had been a key part of their journey towards healing and understanding. Their unique connection with the natural world and their complex social structures had much to teach humans. Ender felt a sense of wonder and awe at the possibilities that lay ahead, as they worked together to build a brighter future for all the inhabitants of Lusitania.